Hey y'all, Carolina Tony. Today we are in Mooresville, North Carolina, Hall of Fame. Now this museum's got a lot of old cars in it, a lot of old memorabilia, some great stories, and we're going to do some in-depth exploring, but right after this station identification. Racing gets its start way back in the early 1900s. Here is Bill Blair's number 2. It's a 1938 Ford stock car. They found this thing in a field in Denton, North Carolina. It is so cool. Some racing go-karts. Here's a 1959 Thunderbird. It's the only surviving Grand National Thunderbird. 350 horsepower, 430 cubic inch Lincoln engine in this thing. Check out all those black and whites. Ah, the carpetbagger's been here. NASCAR pit helmet, an old style racing hat. Here is a racing helmet that belonged to racing legend Neil Bonnet. And there's his car in 1984 at Daytona. This little monkey is a memento from Tim Flock. Was known as Jocko Flaco. In 1953, it helped Tim win the Grand National at Hickory, North Carolina. Was the only winning monkey. It said that in those days they had a trap door so they could open it up and check the tire wear. And anyway, when they opened it up, a rock hit Jocko in the head and he went berserk. And Jocko was a real monkey, and he drove with him in the car. And after he went berserk, he had to retire from racing. The monkey, that is. There's a photograph of Tim Flock. North Wilkesboro Speedway official pace car. And I'll show you a special video of North Wilkesboro. Check it out. Some nice cars in here, and trucks. Look, it's a cutaway on the hood so you can see the engine in this one. Okay, here is Tim Flock's car with Jocko Flaco. Of course, Jocko Flaco was a real monkey, and this one's stuffed. Said Jocko broke from his restraint, and that's when he was hit in the head by a rock. Now, when you first look at a race tire, it just looks like a plain old simple tire. But some of them are a little more detailed. Let me show you a cutaway. Look at the cutaway of this tire. It says your outer tire, inner tire. And here's a fuel cell. Of course, when these cars wreck, you don't want gas flying everywhere. So inside the cell, inside the fuel cell itself, is this kind of like a foam type material that absorbs the fuel to keep it from splashing around. And you imagine being strapped into this thing. It is tiny. Ryan Newman, he won $25,000 with that car. Here's a car that belonged to Tony Stewart. Of course, his sponsor was Home Depot, but look how close to the ground that thing sits. These Indy Cars. Here's another modified race car. Modified from a Pinto. And of course, some might not remember, but Pinto was a car that Ford made, and they had all kinds of problems with them. I'll give you a close-up look inside a race car. As you can see, when you're strapped into this car, your head would be here, so you basically can't look left or right, and you're strapped in with a 5-point harness, so you can't lift forward. And this is what you have to look through for your rear view mirror there. It's kind of like a golf cart mirror. So you rely on your crew chief to tell you where you can turn and when you can turn. Here's a little section in this museum that's dedicated to dragging. Some drag cars.
Can I pop in here for a minute?
Sure. More drag cars. A staging tree. In the 2006 Pixar film Cars, Doc Hudson is a medical doctor and a local judge, and here's his car, the Hudson Hornet. Of course, in the movie it's the animated version, but here's the real thing. Well, it's not a really big museum, but there are a lot of cars in here. A lot of old racing history. Hope you've enjoyed our trip. If you hadn't subscribed, be sure to go down here and click subscribe. After that, ring the bell so you'll be notified every time we put a video out. But for now, y'all have a good day.